Welcome back to the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. After you through the news you need to know about, we run you through the fan Q&A where we answer fans' questions. Before we get into the news, which there's some good news, but barely, there's not a lot. There's probably a good 2 stories. I just want to bring up Jonnu Smith, who I think has acclimated himself really nice to the fan base so far, more than most players. It seems like he's genuinely happy to be here. Which is good, and his skill set really does fit the scheme. I cannot wait to see him play in a Dolphins uniform. But him saying that he hates Buffalo, he doesn't know why anybody would live there, but the Buffalo wings are good. Huge brownie points for Dolphins fans. This is what he had to say about Tua. Quote, Jonnu Smith said, quote, throws a receiver's ball as accurate as it can be. Called Tua's arm talent. Saying Tua had premier arm talent when talking about his arm talent. So I don't know why that was so weird to get out. But shout out to Jonnu Smith. Doing the right thing, getting the fans hyped up, and it seems like he's genuinely happy to be here, and I can't wait to see. And again, a lot of the times that translates. Anytime you get a player from free agency that's really excited about it, you know you're going to get good effort from him. So I just can't wait to see him and how they use him in the offense. This is another quick one. Just wanted to run through. These are the biggest cap hits in free agency next year. Tyreek Hill currently ranks at number 9 with a $31 million cap hit next year. It's crazy that we're already here with this, even though it's a year away. I don't know. Time flies. But most of that is not guaranteed. Almost all of it isn't. So it's going to be really interesting if the Dolphins don't extend him. Are they going to eat that $30 million? No. I would say it's on 99.9% not going to happen unless an extension happens. And then he won't be a Dolphin anymore. And they're not going to take that money, especially since it's not guaranteed. It would be bad on them from a front office if they did something like that. So I just hope they can come in. Obviously, Tyreek Hill has been very vocal in the media about wanting a new deal. And hopefully they can come together on a deal. And if they don't, that's okay. If this is the last year of Tyreek Hill, hopefully it's a great one. But it would suck if he didn't finish his career in Miami. I really think that they need to seriously think about that and try to make him, or at least try to work out a deal so he does finish his career as a Dolphin. It would mean a lot to the fan. Not that this means anything to them, but it would mean a lot to the fan base. And I think for people who go watch games, whether it's you watch a game every Sunday, Thursday, sometimes Saturday or Monday, if you're going to Hard Rock or you're just at home, just to be able to see Tyreek Hill play is a great privilege in its own right as a fan of the team we've dealt with countless far less talented players than him. It's just nice to see a player of his caliber, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer, play for the Dolphins and have 2 career seasons and 2 of some of the best seasons a player's ever had in a Dolphins uniform back to back. So I hope they can figure out a deal. Because it would suck. It just would suck to see him go and play for another team. If he can put 4 years of great play like that, he's definitely one of the greatest Dolphins of all. I don't know how high he would be. Definitely in the top 10 if he can continue. He would, honestly, arguably be pretty high already, especially if he finishes this year strong. Another quick one, really quick. These are the longest tenured GMs with any team. Currently, Chris Greer, which I thought he would rank pretty high, is 8th. He was hired January 4th, 2016. Just to give you guys some perspective of how long Chris has been here. It's debated, it's obviously debated since Mike Tannenbaum was there, and then obviously Adam Gase, how much power he actually had. That's you could argue that all day long. So, but it is wild how long he's been here as the Dolphins GM. This next news story comes from Pro Football Rumors. Latest on Dolphins roster battles. This comes from Adam Beasley. He said veteran running back Salvon Ahmed is on the roster bubble. Another cut candidate is Jeff Wilson Jr. Chris Brooks, he also mentions. I don't know if I could see Chris being the fourth running back. He did deal with that injury last year, but I don't think Jeff Wilson's making the team, and it's probably time the Dolphins move on from Savon Ahmed, so those might be your four. Maybe Jeff Wilson, I think, has more of a chance to be the fourth guy, maybe a practice squad guy, and that's why I think Chris Brooks is probably more likely. But I don't think Ahmed's coming back. It's going to make it through training camp and preseason. And Jeff Wilson, who I have talked about many times on the show, I don't really like, probably not going to make it either. So, and we've heard nothing but great things about Jalen Wright, who's a guy. The fact that it's crazy that that's the backfield. Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, and Jalen Wright. That's a very, very talented core of running backs. This next news story comes from Pro Football Rumors. Guaranteed money, quote, a sticking point into his extension talks. Adam Beasley of Pro Football Network writes that the guaranteed money is what most believe is the sticking point in the ongoing contract negotiations. I'm sure you guys have heard a million times from different people. Obviously, the average salary for a quarterback right now is $53 million. Who knows how much the Dolphins are offering, and if guaranteed money is really what they're arguing over, I don't know what's going on with this contract thing. I think it's a cliche, number one, and I think and this is my opinion on it, it's a cliche with quarterbacks and how much money they make, and it's way overblown the impact it has on your salary cap and your team. Yes, is it nice to have a quarterback on a rookie deal? Yeah, it is. It's obviously nice. If you look at the history of the league, most of the quarterbacks that won a Super Bowl were not on rookie deals. If you added all the championships up, rookie deals versus non-rookie deals would come out on top, even in the modern era. So I really do think it's just a talking point for talk shows in the off season, and I think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you look at the history of the NFL. It is better to be on a rookie deal, but it's definitely not impossible and doesn't shackle you as bad as people make it out to be. Now, the guaranteed money thing obviously can hurt you down the line for dead cap if you want to get rid of Tua. I don't think Tua is ever going to be bad enough where you couldn't trade him. Even if the contract was what it was, I'm sure you could get a Jared Goff like trade off at the very least to somebody. So I don't know. I'm not really worried about his contract. I think he deserves it. I don't think it's gonna hurt the franchise unless he just somehow gets way worse. Then yeah, that's a problem. But Tua I think it's a weird thing with Tua because yes, he's not perfect, but I do think it's overblown. It's a very weird extreme. It's either he's really, really bad, or some people overrate him sometimes, in my opinion. But I still think he's a really good quarterback, and his career here has kind of been sometimes I feel like it's not appreciated as much as it needs to be for the majority of people. And like I said, he's not perfect. We all know that. But I think he's still a really good quarterback. He's the best quarterback we've had since Dan Marino. And that's not a reason to just give him a contract. But I think he's good enough to get a contract. It has nothing to do with him being the best one we've had in a long time. And I still think I hate to say this because you hear a lot of people say it, but I do think he is getting better, especially as a pocket passer. And I don't think he's going to get worse. So I would give him the deal. I still think he's a really good quarterback. He definitely can. I think he could go to a Super Bowl with a good team around him. Just like everybody else has to have a good team around him. It's not an individual thing. And I still think he's a very good quarterback. So I'm not really worried about the contract situation. And even me, at the end of last year, I think we all were just angry. But even going back and looking at some of the stuff, it's like, yeah, it wasn't as bad as I remember it being with Tua. And there was a whole lot of other stuff going on with the team that wasn't great. But anyway, yeah, I'm not worried about him. And if it was me, I would give him the contract. This next news story comes from Pro Football Rumors. The NFL's longest tenured head coaches. Um, see, I just was curious to see where Mike McDaniel ranked on this. He's the 18th longest head coach, which I thought was kind of crazy. It goes to show you how much turnover in the NFL there is, that he's already 18 and he was just hired in 2022. Kind of crazy. That honestly might be it. There's no free agents rumors. There's nothing but speculation on that front. I mean, they already lied and said they're not gonna add free agents, and they added 2. So clearly they're still open for stuff like that. It's very hard to find offensive line help at this point in the season. It's a very high even if you're an older player, it's very unlikely a team with a good offensive lineman, unless they're a really bad team, is gonna let them go, and those are even more rare. So, and I know we're all holding out hope for something like that. Maybe something like that happens. I doubt it. I did want to run through this list really fast, though, for Dolphins cut candidates. And, well, actually, it's never mind. It's not a list. But, yeah, I don't know. I still think I just don't see it really happening with the offensive line, even though it would make me feel better as a fan if they added one more interior lineman. Maybe they can still work out a deal with Connor. Obviously, he's still out there. Connor Williams, the center. But I don't know. It just would make me feel better if they did. Still think I think that's the team's biggest weakness, is the interior offensive line, not only with starting, but they've added good depth. I shouldn't say that, not depth, because I think there is good depth there. But to add a solid starting caliber player, I think would really solidify things and really come up with. Sorry, I was just reading something that distracted me. It was like, said something about Connor Williams to the Bears, but I don't think that's official. Yeah, he's still a free agent. So, at least I think I don't think he signed anywhere. Google still says he's a Dolphin. But anyway, I think that's really the only thing that they need. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was brought up this offseason. We talked about everything. There's really nothing else to bring up. It's the offseason. It's dead. We're still talking about Tua contract stuff, which is annoying. But yeah, I actually really like this rookie class, and I'm excited to see Muhammad Kamara and Jalen Wright and Patrick Paul too. And maybe he can swing some stuff around with the offensive line if he performs really well in training camp and preseason. If he's so good, maybe they can move some of the pieces around, which would be kind of pretty hype, because I think, again, that's really the only weakness. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys hear a snore in the back, it's a pug. And that is it. I'll see you guys in the next one.